We have tried to sit down and film this video 4 times now. 3 or 4 times now. First couple times we tried to do it, we wanted to go over my first YA dystopian novel that I wrote. But then we realized, like, the plot is so meaningless and the characters
book is so boring
that we actually did not want to have to read it on camera or off camera, and that we actually want to burn it in a pit of despair and hatred. But we won't do that because we want to look back on it once we're
old and wrinkly.
So today we're going to be reading my second attempt at a YA dystopian novel, and it's called Programmed.
What day was it made?
It was New Year's Day.
New Year.
The first day of 2017 was the day I started writing it.
I was about to say New Year, new genre, but then I was like,
No.
no.
New Year's, same exact genre from last year.
New Year, knockoff book.
Knockoff book of a knockoff book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're wondering what those are, it's knockoff of...
Matched, which was a knockoff of The Giver.
No.
Yes.
Matched?
Matched.
That's what it's called. That's what the series is called?
Not this series.
This is Programmed.
Yes. This series that I basically like copied the idea from was called the Matched Trilogy, which was just a really bad knockoff of the Giver series,
which is a very well-known
Lois Lowry, which is really good. But this being 2 knockoffs down the line is not very good. And it kind of just loses the entire point, and it's just bad.
It's like filtering something, like less and less gets filtered down, and all you're left with is like this really bland substance.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. Good job, June. An A plus for June's analogy. What we have here is a product of the YA dystopian genre that took the world by storm a couple of years ago. That had everybody obsessed with The Hunger Games and Divergent and The Maze Runner and The Giver and
I feel like The Giver was slightly better than those.
Oh yeah, and The Giver came way before, but people came back to it.
Yeah, it's still in the same genre though.
Yeah. So this is just a product of that obsession that I had. And I wanted so badly to write like a really cool dystopian world novel. But what we got was just
another
knockoff of a knockoff. So Programmed is the story of a girl named Amberly while she navigates her world where the computers decide everything for you. So it's a society run by the computers, which is like their form of government, I guess. And they tell them
AI is the government.
Yeah, the AI is the government or something. And they tell them who to marry and what their job will be and how many kids they'll have.
What if you're supposed to have 1 kid and you get pregnant with twins?
What they'll do, and I worked this out with one of my friends, what they'll do is they take one of them and give it to somebody who can't have another kid.
Okay. So, I'm guessing it's not randomized. The people are put together by their personalities. Yeah. That could be good.
Yeah.
That could be good.
The idea,
it's so close.
The idea was so close to being good.
It's so close to being original.
It was just executed really poorly. Yeah. So, chapter 1. A bleak gray cuts through the complete darkness of sleep. It starts with a thin thread, but widens and spreads across my field of vision.
Your eyes are opening.
She's awakening.
This is like over.
Amberly Jade is awakening. The distant barking of a dog and a baby bawling next door is what finally drags me out of the lull of sleep. The sun has started leaking through the blinds, sending streaks of light onto the wall. I remember I was so proud of this opening paragraph, and a friend of mine read it. She was like, wow, Ivy, that's really good. was really great. You're a good writer. I was like,
Stop Please stop giving her false information.
and I was like, yeah. Man, this just sets the tone. It's a really good starting. It'll just be a really good book. And I had a bad habit of starting out my books with the main character waking up. I didn't know how else to start a book without like the character awakening. So that's how all of my books started. They were waking up out of their sleep. So Emberly wakes up. Come on, my mother yells from downstairs. Time to get up. Today is the big day. I pull myself out of bed and dress into a simple pair of jeans and a t-shirt. There's no need to dress up. I slip on my jacket and hurry downstairs. Already, there's a level of like bitterness. These books always carry a level of bitterness.
Why am I alive again? That's what she's wanting.
Yeah, and I really wanted to make her character like kind of cheery and bright,
but she just came out.
I was just bad at making that kind of character when I was younger. All I saw represented in this kind of genre were brooding, sarcastic, tough girls.
I'm tough.
And so I wanted to make a different kind of main character, but I just didn't know how to.
I understand because you felt like you were backed into a corner because you're just like, if I make her a little bit softer, then she'll be
different.
She'll seem like she needs a man with her to help her. And I guess like this genre doesn't really want that.
Yeah.
And
it's not a particularly like feminist genre, but it is a feminist genre.
Whenever a main character is a girl, it's definitely like
it has very feminist undertones.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like ruin that. But also I wanted a different kind of character.
I think that's another reason why The Giver was so good.
Yeah. My parents have set an extra special breakfast out for an extra special occasion. But just because it's extra special doesn't mean I have to like it. Already brooding.
My life is
not
awful.
even an entire page in, and Emberly Jade is brooding. After I eat my breakfast of pancakes, fruit, and bacon,
honestly,
the TV flashes and turns on. The usual age of adulthood speech plays.
It's the age of adulthood.
It's the age of adulthood. Their entire adulthood gets thrown onto them all at once. Let him in.
Don't you?
The usual age of adulthood speech plays, telling us all about how our lives are about to change. Anybody that is 20 years old is required to come to the community center and get a partner and a job. The computers assign them to us. The computers also tell us
I'm sorry, I completely like spaced out.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't listening.
It's a little like not quite
dull.
Brooding. So it's established that she doesn't
sucks.
for context, it's like a lot of like really like light writing and then sucks. And really
I was trying to describe the book for you
just
for herself.
Wow. Sick burn. So it's established early on that she doesn't have the best relationship with her parents, and that her parents don't have the best relationship with each other because the computers didn't pair them very well. I mean, they never really cared for each other very much.
I bet her mom had a high school sweetheart, and that's the only thing she could think of.
Mom. So she leaves for the community center, and she's met by her best friend, her bestie, Sam. She's met by her bestie, Sam, and he's a silly, goofy, quirky guy. He's supposed to be.
He's like slightly goofy.
He's a goofball. And
he like makes one joke, and the rest of the time he's all broody, and you're just like, he's funky.
He's a silly, goofy, quirky dude.
Yeah, like, didn't you hear that joke that he just made?
Pretty goofy.
He said,
yeah, that sucks.
Where's the soup?
Quirky. So, like in any YA dystopian novel, she's got her bestie and he's a guy. But they're not in love.
They're
Yet. They're besties. For now.
They're besties. Until later.
They're bickering, they're bantering, and then they get to the community center and they're sitting in a big white room as they do in YA dystopian novels until their name gets called. And when her name is called, she's taken to the back where there's a giant computer screen that's all Emberly Jade. Your partner is Jonah Carson. She's
Hi, I'm Jonah.
no, not him. He sucks. And it's all, your job is school teacher. And she's all like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I wanted. And then it's, and your car.
Good morning. Let's make a Susie. I mean a smoothie.
This is the car you're going to have? I am very specific on
So the number of children you will have is 3. Goodbye. And then she has to leave.
see ya.
And so she gets out to the hallway, and there's Jonah Carson, and he's all, well.
This is who I
And
got?
I guess it's kind of established that he was her bully in school, and that he was always kind of mean to her while they were in school, and they kind of hate each other.
I think the robots have like a YA novel mind. They're just like the bully and the girl.
They're like, the Wattpadders will love this.
Wow.
Or they just had some kind of secret vendetta against Jonah and Emberly. They're like, you know
It's
what?
like,
Those annoying little kids. We're
I
gonna
think-
pair them together. We're gonna make their lives miserable.
or maybe like this guy who had something against them hacked into the computer and put them together. But nobody knows who it
That would
is.
just be a side novel.
Yeah, that would be a whole series.
That would be a novella after the entire series is over.
Mm-hmm. It's about his whole life. He gets executed, by the way.
So they leave. And they go to their new house, and it's a really beautiful house, and she's all,
Because they're all
well,
the same.
I hate this guy, but at least the house is nice.
It's kind of
And-
like, I hate this guy, but at least the ring is nice.
You are not holding back tonight. Kind of rude to each other, but not like, I don't know. It's weird. Like their dynamic throughout the entire book is really weird. It's like, sometimes it's like, yeah, that could work. And then sometimes it's like,
Like, I hate this guy.
why are they being so mean to each other? Like, what happened? They've been home for like 20 minutes. They get a little knockety knock on their door. And there's Sam. And his match is this little girlie named Athena Loveton. And she's an idiot.
And her name is Athena Loveton.
And she's an idiot. I don't know why I felt the need to write
A dumb blonde.
yeah, I don't know why. Sam's match should be brain dead. And I was like, yeah, that works.
Because Emberly and Sam are quirky.
They're smart. That's quirky. How quirky of them to have IQ.
Athena gets nurse?
Yeah, and then the computers are like, hey, you stupid little girl. Why don't you be a nurse?
That's
You seem
right.
dumb.
Love
So
it.
anyway, they invite themselves over to Emberly and Jonah's house and sit down at their table and eat dinner with them. And they're all sitting in the living room afterwards and they're laughing and they're talking.
Is their whole house stocked already?
Yeah, everything's been stocked. Everything's grapes in the fridge.
An already made salad in a wooden bowl with a wooden spoon in the fridge.
Yes.
And all they have to do is pull it out. No dressing.
And then they're all hanging out in the living room, and you know, somebody says something funny, and they're all laughing, and then Emberly catches sight of Sam laughing along with the joke. And she's like,
Wow.
do I like him?
Do you love me too?
And she's like, whoa, no, that's crazy. Must be the wine talking.
Okay, they're 18. So
20.
Oh, they're 20. So in this world, they're legally adults when they're 20.
20, yes.
So it's a little bit different. And they can legally drink when they're 20.
And so then Jonah's gonna be a lawyer, Sam is gonna be a grocery store cashier.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
Isn't that what you are?
And then she's like, do I like Sam? He needs to leave. So they kick them out.
One, nobody actually needs money.
No. So
They're not actually making money,
they're in
are
this
they?
like, I don't even know. They're in like this perfect utopic society. And
Why is there like grocery stores and stuff? I'd understand if like it was sent in a big box to their house by like the government.
the computers.
The computers. The computers.
Yeah.
Like to stock up their food and stuff, and everyone has the same
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know. It's kind of just like I thought of some
'Cause-
stuff that I wanted to put in there, and I was like, well, it's going in. No questions asked. No
Because now there's no need for money.
yeah, no plot holes considered. I just like stuck it in.
Because
I
like
felt
they're
it.
given a home, they're given a
given
card,
food.
they're given food.
So I don't know why they need jobs other than to like keep them occupied, I guess. So anyway, they kick out Sam and Athena, and then there's like awkward silence between her and Jonah, and it's like, I don't know, he's being rude or something. And then she,
Is there like a deadline for having kids then?
I don't know. I think it's just kind of like one a year. One a year till you're done.
Population control for kids.
Welcome to YouTube Kids, where we talk about population control.
Bam, 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 bam.
She goes upstairs, she's unpacking, she's kind of annoyed at Jonah, and then it all hits her. Her life has just completely changed.
meaning.
She was just an average girl yesterday, and then all of a sudden, her
She's
entire
married to
life
some
is
random guy.
her entire life is all mapped out for her. So she kind of freaks out.
I find it boring.
It is a little boring. I made some pretty boring books when I was younger. And this is her first connecting moment with Jonah. Because she's freaking out. She's like, what do I do? That like I have zero control over my life. And then he's there for her. He's like, hey, we're gonna figure this out. And she's like, you know what?
We're gonna figure it out.
The camera did not just fall over.
We're gonna cut that out.
He's like, you know what? We're gonna figure this out. She's like, you're right. We are.
I guess they are kind of a good match because like
Yeah.
he calms him, but he's not necessarily a good guy though.
No. So it's just kind of a couple pages of boringness. She's enraged at their AI controlled world. She's like, I want to make my own decisions.
This is not a musical.
She learns the information that Jonah is in love with someone else. Big surprise there.
I like how this whole friend group kind of thing, the whole team, it's just like a
Everybody's
big love triangle.
Yeah, it's like a love triangle.
Love triangle. It's like a constellation.
Where everybody's connected. Everybody's
Yeah.
in love with each other.
Yeah, it's like
Because she finds out that he's in love with Amelia, this girl named Amelia. And then Amelia's partner, Jake or Jack or Jason or I don't know, something like that, is in love with Athena. So
Just kinda goes in
Amberly's
a
in love with
circle.
Sam, Jonah's in love with Amelia, and Jason or Jack or James or whatever is in love with Athena. And so everything works out.
But
I don't know
are
why-
they truly in love? Are each of these people truly in love with each other?
Those are the
That
questions we need to
is
be
the
asking.
question
That
we're all asking.
once they realize everybody's connected, like the six of them, they're all romantically connected.
They're all connected.
We should have a meeting of sorts. So they host like a meeting, and they are like, you know what? It's like we've just been switched around. We just need to take who's ours.
You know what I find really funny? It's almost like they're the only 6 people in this
In
whole
the entire
world.
world, everybody else doesn't matter. It's like, who cares?
It's like they're kind of like cardboard cutouts.
They're just like little robots
They're
living
just
in
like-
their homes, you know. And then these 6 are the only 6 with actual lives and actual romantic interests.
I guess in their heads, that's
They
the
are.
case.
Yeah, they're all so self-centered and absorbed.
They're
that
all
that's
very
how it is.
self-absorbed.
host a meeting and they're like, you know what, let's just take whose hours ever. Like, nobody would notice. They're like, yeah, let's just do that. Like,
like each of us will like live together, but then people would just come over.
No,
and chill.
we're not swingers, dude. If that's what you're getting at, no.
Did they like sign something so like they're legally married?
Not yet. They're gonna do that a week after the whole ceremony thing. But I just did that to give them time to switch around. After they think about it for a while, they're like, no, neighbors, people would notice that everybody switched up.
The cardboard cutouts.
The Johnsons, the cardboard cutouts next door
would
they'll
notice. Pretty good twist if like they were the only 6 people in this whole neighborhood and everyone else were like fake.
Yeah. That would be
and they were just
interesting.
like being watched.
But that's not how it is because I wasn't super original. So what happened is they're like, well, we can't just switch around, so our only other option is escaping. We have to escape. The town is surrounded by walls. What will we do? We will knock out one of the wall security guards, and we'll just open one of the doors, and we'll escape. And that's where I stopped. That's where I stopped writing. I stopped writing like 45 pages in.
Because she didn't know what to do
Yeah,
next.
I didn't know what to do once they were outside of the walls. I didn't plan it out that far.
What if outside the walls everything was like medieval? They took all of the AI and any electronic
and just put it in this one.
electricity and put it all in this one place.
And then everybody else had to live like medieval?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was planning on it being a trilogy. I don't know why, but I was like, this needs to be a trilogy. This is just too good.
All trilogies, by the way. It's either a trilogy or 4. Or it's
Saga.
A saga.
My idea was for the first book, they get out and they're out for a while, and then they meet like a village living outside of the city walls. And they're like, we need to defeat the AI inside of that town. And then in the second book, they were gonna go to war with the AI, and Sam was gonna be killed. I was planning on
In the second
book.
Wow.
I was planning on killing off Sam, so she feels like it's all pointless. Like she escaped to be with him, and then he dies. So what next? And she realizes that she was actually in love with John the whole time.
The whole time, and it takes 3 books.
And I don't know what I was planning for the third book.
And
It
at
probably
the end,
could have existed as a 2-book
She
series.
becomes a medieval princess.
And at the end, she becomes a medieval princess. So what did we learn today? We
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Let's make up something that we learned.
What year was this?
2017.
17. 13-year-old you was
An idiot.
an idiot and oblivious.
And really bad at coming up with original ideas. We learned that you should not trust a child to write YA dystopian novels because they're going to be rip-offs and it's going to be bad.
If you open up Wattpad.
Another thing we learned, down with AI, and you were in love with Jonah the whole time.
Maybe you shouldn't have left.
Maybe the villain was you. Maybe you should just be happy with the cards you were dealt.
Who was the villain? Was there a villain? Was the AI truly the villain?
Or was it you? And you need for control over every aspect in your life.
Or
And
maybe
how much control do you have over your life in reality? And did she become a medieval princess? Thank you for watching. Who knows if we'll actually post this.